What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you are new to the channel, do me a favor, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out. Now, with this video, we are jumping into the Swamp Thing, issue number 10. Now, if you haven't kept up with all issues 1 through 10 of the Swamp Thing, go ahead, check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It is going to get you caught up on this entire series from Ram V. And as you guys have heard me praise over and over and over and over again, Ram V is arguably one of the best writers coming out of DC Comics right now. So much so that they took the Swamp Thing, which was only supposed to be 10 issues, and they have extended it out to 16 issues. So we are getting at least 6 more issues of the Swamp Thing by Ram V. And I cannot tell you how freaking ecstatic I am for that. Because this story truly has been a lot of fun, and I really do want to see where Ram V is going to be taking all of this. Now, we last left off with Swamp Thing and his brother, who is also some type of elemental power. It doesn't really specify, but it does specify that the ancients gave him some of the power to see if he could be better than the Green. To see if he could be better than his brother, and making sure that the Green is always protected, to making sure that the wildlife is always protected, the things that they hold true and dear to them. But the Swamp Thing's brother Jacob, he attacks the Prescot facility. In doing so, he completely overruns this place, and Swamp Thing has to come in and try to stop him. And so with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into issue number 10 of the Swamp Thing, we are picking up and it's showing us a little bit of memories of him and his brother Jacob, of them back in the day, how they always used to hang out, always used to take care of one another. They were always there for each other. They were always out getting in trouble. They were two peas in a pod. They were as close as brothers can truly get, hoping that he can save his brother Jacob, hoping that he can bring him back from the other side, because at the end of the day, he knows, he feels in his heart that he has failed Jacob. Jacob has gone upon a path of destruction, of flame and chaos, a path that he knows is not truly his brother, a path that has been brought upon by trauma after trauma after trauma. And we see the two of them, they battle it out, as Swamp Thing is doing everything he can to try to reach his brother. His brother is bringing this place all the way down to nothing but crumble. Now, as these two brothers have their battle raging on, we have Mr. Pilgrim, the one who runs this entire facility, currently having with him in his possession Miss Reese, a kind of contingency plan, and just in case the Swamp Thing does come after him, he can use her as collateral. But with the two giant beings sitting down in the facility battling it out, Mr. Prescott thinks it's a great time to initiate his protocol that will shut down this entire facility. Not only that, it'll stop the Swamp Thing and his brother. He is going to release a bioagent that will completely disintegrate them down to nothing. Quoting him saying that if he cannot have Swamp Thing, if he cannot have these relics, then nobody will be allowed to have them. He will make sure that they are completely erased from the face of the earth. And so with only 26 seconds, we see the flooding starting to fill the facility, with Swamp Thing and Jacob completely unaware of what is about to happen. Now, these two have been battling for quite some time, and what we really see is Jacob, he more or less doesn't necessarily give up, but he calls it. He's just like, he's done. Because at the end of the day, he cannot believe his brother chose Prescott. These people, the ones that would take everything from them, the ones that would destroy everything they love, everything they care about, destroy the very forest that their father gave his life to ensure would still stand. You would side with these people over me. You would side with these people over us, over your own people. And with the bioagent wave making its way about to crash onto them, the Swamp Thing apologizes to his brother, and then he goes and he encapsulizes him inside of him. And from that, we see the green, it spikes out in all directions, coming and being 10 stories tall. These spikes are protruding outside of the building. Now, Miss Reese at this point, she believes truly that they are now dead. Mr. Pilgrim as well is believing this, not really caring what she has to say, not really caring what she's going to do about it, because at the end of the day, he will just deny every aspect of anything that happened, letting her know that he has been playing this game for quite some time, and if she wants to play with the big dogs, then she is more than welcome to attempt. Now, it is a little bit of an unfortunate loss for Mr. Pilgrim. He lets everyone know that while losing the Swamp Thing, losing the conduit to the green, it may definitely hamper our research abilities. But this is when he goes back to his office and he sits down with a Mr. Woodrue. Now, Woodrue is an interesting character because we have seen him not only in Future State, but we have seen him end up talking to Miss Reese herself. Not looking as he does now, but Woodrue appears to be the culprit behind the destruction of the entire Earth, of almost the extinction of the human race. At least that's the Future State we saw for the Swamp Thing. When he more or less creates his own people, he becomes godly by creating sentient beings. And he does this because of the loneliness that he feels without human companionship. But with the Swamp Thing currently encapsulated inside of this is when the green reaches out to him, and the green lets him know that this is Alec Holdman. This is every avatar that has ever been attached to the green. This is all who came before him, and all who will come after him. And though he may be yearning for peace, he may want all of this to end, the green lets him know that his work is not done yet, that this is not the end of him and the Swamp Thing, that their connection will only grow, and it tells him to rise as the Swamp Thing. And with that, we see him break out of his cocoon, no longer being the green, or looking like the green anyway, because of this chemical compound that had taken over their whole body. He is looking more like his brother than anything right now. But as he arises from this cocoon, we see his chest burst open. And with his chest opening up, this is where we see his brother Jacob fall out. He was able to protect him. He was able to save his life. And at this point, we are unsure if Jacob is still connected to any elemental. But with him saving his brother's life, we see the Swamp Thing. He falls down to the ground, barely holding on to any life, and it very well could be the end of the Swamp Thing, or at very least, this iteration of the Swamp Thing. Now back with Mr. Pilgrim and Mr. Woodrue. These two are sitting down and they are currently examining the Pale Wanderer. Now for those of you who have been following this the entire time, the Pale Wanderer was in the first couple of issues of Ram vs. the Swamp Thing. It introduced us to a more or less desert elemental, showing that the world of elementals isn't just the Swamp Thing, isn't just the green, but it could be a very wide variety of avatars and elementals out there that are connected to one another. And so while they may not have the Swamp Thing anymore, while they may not have access to the green, the Pale Wanderer is going to be their next conduit, is going to be their next investigation on figuring out how to use this power, how to harness this power for money and profit. And picking back up with the Swamp Thing, as his body rests sitting here in what appears to be snow completely surrounding them, with footsteps walking away as if Jacob was able to get up and be able to live. Not sure of his condition, not sure even if he was able to make it out of the snow, probably assuming that his brother had given his life for him, with Swamp Thing lying here, not moving an inch, we see the red eyes of the Swamp Thing open up. And so the Swamp Thing is ready to rise again. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. You know, like I have said 1,001 times, I am 100% on board with Ram vs. the Swamp Thing. This has been some of the best writing from DC Comics. You truly can connect, relate, you can feel the emotions that Swamp Thing is going through this entire time. The turmoil, the struggle with his brother, the trying to comprehend that he is part of something much bigger. He barely understands his unity with the Swamp Thing. But as his trials and tribulations continue on, as he is thrown through the gulag time and time again, he is learning over and over what it truly means to be the Swamp Thing. Now, we can only imagine that the Pale Wanderer, everything going on with Woodrue, Mr. Pilgrim, we know this is going to have absolutely tremendous repercussions. And that is where the Swamp Thing is going to have to step up. He is going to have to play his role as the Guardian of the Green. But in doing so, could it mean the destruction of everything? Could it mean the extinction of the human race? Because we know his future state, it leads to that. It leads to almost every single human being wiped out. And it is all because of him. Does Mr. Pilgrim, does Woodrue, do they all lead to this inevitable outcome? Are they the culprits that push him to that brink? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you have not yet, do me a favor, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out, and until the next breakdown.